You know the saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, that's all great, but sometimes even if you love what you do, you'd rather still do nothing, right? At least not have to do anything. For those of us that love sipping mojitos poolside in an exotic location, in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to achieve financial independence and retire early. So be sure to hang in until the end because I'm gonna give you some awesome tips because the last one, you're gonna love, all right? All right, so number one, the first thing you wanna do if you wanna be financially independent and retire early is ignore the advice of anybody else that's your age who haven't done it themselves, right? My mantra is this: if I want somebody to mentor me or give me advice, I want those that have been there, done that, and most importantly, still doing it today. I mean, there's always those people that have been there, done that, the has-beens, but I want people that have actually been there, done that, and still doing it. You know, I don't want the people that said, hey, I got rich off of Bitcoin that 1 year, but not so much this year, right? Or I got rich off of this one thing, but I haven't been able to keep it. I'm broke now. Those people's advice, you don't want the flash in the pan people. You don't want the people that just got lucky once. Heck, I mean, I failed so much, I had to become financially independent twice by the time I was 39, just to make sure I did it right the second time, okay? You wanna make sure you take advice from people that actually have gotten it right. So if you've got that person that's your coworker, your neighbor, you know, your cousin, that brother-in-law that took that economics or finance class at one time, said he got an A, and as a result makes him somehow a financial authority, or even worse, financial advisor, who are actually just paid salespeople in suits. They are not financial experts and never will be, never have been. Take advice from people that have actually done it. By the way, as a side note on financial advisors, because I used to be one myself and now I'm the anti-financial advisor, financial advisors aren't taught how to become financially independent or retire early. I remember my goal when I was a financial advisor in my 20s, I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if I can just be cheap, you know, make sure I turn down that thermostat, you know, so that, you know, the summer times it gets ridiculously hot and the winter times it's cold, we just bundle up because I want to save money on energy so I can take those $2 that I saved and go use it to invest in some crappy mutual fund I may or may not make money in because the market may or may not go up or down. But I thought if I just save enough in there, when I'm 40, I'll have $60,000 a year to live on, $5,000 a month. And I thought that would be living the dream if I could do that by the time I was 40, which is about 15 years later. Guys, guess what? First off, we already know, I'm almost 45 right now. 5,000 a month is nothing anymore, right? That was not living the dream. Secondly, I mean, I would have to scrimp and save millions of dollars. I would have to save $2 million to do that. But I'll tell you, when I looked around at other financial advisors, guess what? Even guys that have been working in the financial advising industry since the late 1970s, guess what they were still doing? Working their tails off, working a job as a financial advisor. That's what they were doing. When I looked around, none of them in my office, and there was literally dozens, if not even over 100 people in my office, none of them were financially free off of those investments. So if you're gonna listen to people's advice, listen to those that have actually done it. And in fact, if you have a financial advisor telling you how to become financially free or independent and be able to retire early, ask them, how's your retirement doing? And don't have the whole thing they say like, oh, well, I'm gonna retire by the time I'm 60 and they're 25 years old. That's bull crap, right? Ask them, it's like, hey, listen, if you were to stop working today and you weren't earning commissions anymore from all the business you've already done in the past, would you be able to retire off the investments, just the investments that you have? I guarantee 100% of the time it's gonna be a big fat no, absolutely not. Don't take advice from people that haven't done it themselves. Do that. So if you want to retire early, get advice from people that have actually done it. Hey, even a guy that screwed up and did it twice, I might be a good guy to listen to too. All right, that's number one. Number two is fire your 401k. Get rid of it. Here's the thing. If you want to get where you want to go, like if you want to go to Europe, and this is assuming you're not in Europe, okay? This is assuming you're in the US, and you want to get to Europe, you're not going to take a car, are you? I mean, maybe you've got some cool little secret spy car that you've got, but most likely, if you even get a lot of acceleration, like, and you go woo, off that ramp, you know, right off the dock, and you go, you skip a few times, and you go, you sink, right? You're not gonna get to Europe that way. You need the right vehicle to get you to the right place. If you're gonna go to Europe, you can take a boat, and that's okay, but it might take a while to get there. Or you can take an airplane and get there, right? Yeah, heck, maybe take a Tesla jet, I don't know. You get there much better if you're taking an airplane than taking a car. The 401k is the car. If you wanna go to Europe, you don't take the car. You use something else. The reason why we don't use the 401k to retire early is because if you're trying to retire before the age of 60, the 401k is not your answer, or an IRA, or a Roth IRA. None of those are the answer, because why? because you get slapped with a 10% penalty if you pull it out too early. Not to mention you pay taxes on that money. Now I know there's gonna be somebody that will say, yeah, but Chris, actually, you can actually take your 401k, you can take what's called a 72T distribution, and then you won't have to worry about those penalties, and you pay taxes, but you won't have to worry about the penalties. I don't care. That's a lot of extra hoops to jump through, and usually too complex for people to figure out or make sure they do it right. Then they feel like they're having to be babysat along the way doing it. You shouldn't have to feel like you have to babysit your money. You need the right vehicle to get you there. I'll give you a call to action right now. One thing you should really be looking into is infinite banking. Now, here's the thing. If you look at infinite banking on these other videos of these other guys out there, they're not going to teach you how to do it right. It's all about retirement still after age 60. Well, some of my other videos, you actually see some of these here. Some of my other videos talk about infinite banking, talk about actually retiring early by creating passive income to do that. You don't just use the infinite banking plan. Infinite banking, so you know, is using a whole life insurance policy. Using that to save your money into, because it's got a tax-free supercharged savings account when it's designed correctly. And I would say 99+% of the time it's designed incorrectly. So if you have one, you might not have a very good one. And that's something we should probably take a look at too. But you want to make sure you have the lowest cost, highest returning type of infinite banking policy, so that you not just have a place to save money besides your 401k, but you get to do something your 401k can never let you do. You get to double dip on your investment returns. You can borrow from this policy. Yeah, yes, you can borrow from a 401k, but it doesn't do the same thing. You get a line of credit against the policy where the money doesn't come out of the policy. That cash that's in your life insurance, it doesn't come out. You actually just get a line of credit from an insurance company or a bank, and then you use that money to invest. And what happens, because they charge you such a low interest rate, while you're also earning tax-free compounding interest, what ends up happening is you make at least short-term 1 or 2% more on top of the returns you had made on your investments. So many people that teach infinite banking, it's either I do infinite banking or I invest. You can do both at the same time. You can have your cake and eat it too, because you can actually double dip on your investment returns by getting your money to work for you in two places at the same time. That is leverage, my friends. That is how you make massive money and get to make your money to pay you twice. So that's key. So fire your 401k and then look into like an infinite banking plan, which we've got plenty of videos and education on this channel. And then third is then you build that cash, as I just mentioned, to invest outside. Now you can try to invest in the stock market, but the truth is the stock market for the last 30 years has only averaged about 7.5%, a real rate of return. That's if you invest in the index. 7.5% is never gonna get you there. And by the way, the whole financially independent retire early movement, that FIRE movement, where people say you can live on 4%, that is the oldest equation ever. Just last year, 2021, even the Wall Street Journal finally caught up to what I've been saying for 15 years and said you shouldn't be pulling out no more than 3%. And I would add this from my own personal experience. If you're trying to retire in your 30s or 40s, maybe in your 50s, you shouldn't be pulling out more than 2%. So if you get $1 million in those mutual funds and you saved your butt off, yay, you pull out $20,000, $30,000 a year. That's nothing. Don't do that. We got better place you can invest and not have to worry about whether the market smiles on you or not that day because it decided to go up or down, or even worse, right? Those of you that are younger know that stock market actually does go down, right? It does lose money. So you can invest in other places like real estate investing and other places that are alternative investments, which we have all kinds of videos on as well, that you can learn about. They can make double-digit returns, not 7.5 if the market does it just right, double-digit returns, plus you even get to keep more of your money by paying less in taxes. All right, so let me recap my 3 pieces of advice for you guys if you want to retire financially independent and early and legitimately do it. Number 1, ignore the advice of all the other people, especially those that have never done it before in their life. Get advice from those that have been there, done that, and still doing it today. Number 2, fire that 401k. It is not the vehicle to get you there. You will just sink and work until you're at least in your 60s. And really, 401k is not that special anyways. Instead, look at infinite banking like I talked about before. And then number 3 is build your cash to invest in other things to generate real, passive, consistent income that you can do, whether it be in real estate investing, it could be in oil and gas, it could be in land, it could be in self-storage units, it could be in apartment buildings, other things where you can create passive income now while making great returns and paying less in taxes. Guys, if this is what you want, if you want to be able to make that retirement early, be sure to do that. Check it out. Also be sure to check out our video, how to plan for your retirement in your 20s right now.